Questions 11 through 20 on the 2016 Grade 11 Fermat Math Contest. In the diagram, PQR is right-angled at P and PR is 12. If S is on PQ so that SQ is 11 and SR is 13, the perimeter of QRS is. Alright, well, we're going to have to figure out a few distances. First one is PS. We can figure that out easily with Pythagoras. 12 squared plus PS squared is 13 squared. And that means PS squared will be 5. And I'll let you do the math. So put 5 right here. And then we can figure out RQ using Pythagoras again. 12 squared this time plus that length, which is 5 plus 11, which is 16 squared, is equal to RQ squared. So that's going to be 144 plus 256, and that's 400. So that means RQ, if you take the square root, will be 20. So that's 20 right here. So finally, the perimeter of QRS is going to be 20 plus 13 plus 11, and that is 44. So number 11, the answer is B. How many of the positive divisors of 128 are perfect squares larger than 1? Well, let's list the positive divisors of 128. 128 is actually 2 to the power of 7. So it'll be 1, 2, 4, 8. Just multiples of 2, really. 16, 32, 64, and 128. Now, how many of these are perfect squares larger than 1? So not this one. This, and this. 4, 16, and 64 are perfect squares. And there's 3 of them. So number 12, the answer is 3, which is choice D. The numbers 4x, 2x minus 3, 4x minus 3 are 3 consecutive terms in an arithmetic sequence. What is the value of x? 4x, 2x minus 3, 4x minus 3. And these are consecutive terms in an arithmetic sequence. And an arithmetic sequence is of the form a plus d, a plus 2d, and so on, a plus 3d. And when you take this one and subtract from it this one, you would get a plus d minus a, which is just d. And if you take this one and subtract from it that one, you get a plus 2d minus a minus d, which would end up with just d. As you can see, those are equal. So we can use that with these terms. So 2x minus 3 minus 4x. And on that side, 4x minus 3 minus 2x plus 3. Now let's do this algebra. So this will give me minus 2x minus 3. And on this side, it looks like just 2x. So minus 3 is equal to 4x, and therefore x is equal to minus 3 over 4. Minus 3 over 4 would be choice E for number 13. Suppose that a and b are integers with 4 less than a less than b less than 22. If the average of the numbers 4, a, b, 22 is 13, then the number of possible pairs AB is. 4 is less than A, less than B, less than 22. So that means 4 plus A plus B plus 22 over 4 is equal to 13. So that means A plus B plus 26 is equal to 52. So A plus B is equal to 26. So now we have to make a little table and try to figure out what possible values I can have for A and B, keeping in mind that we have to abide by that inequality. All right, well, this A's got to be greater than 4, and it is an integer, so the smallest it can be is 5. If A is 5, B is therefore 21, because A plus B is 26. And then you just keep going, 6 and 20, 7 and 19, and so on. 8 and 18, 9 and 17, 10 and 16, 11 and 15, 12 and 14, and then 13 and 13. But at this point, this one is invalid because B has to be greater than 8. So the only ones that are valid are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them, 8 pairs. So number 14, the answer is B. Hisham runs 16 kilometers in 1.5 hours. He runs the first 10 kilometers at an average speed of 12 kilometers per hour. What is his average speed for the last 6 kilometers? Hisham is a famous runner. Well, the one I'm thinking of at least. Hisham El Garouj. And he is from Morocco. And he's the exact same age as me. Both of us were born in 1974. And he is the Olympic champion, world record holder, mostly in the 1500, but also in the 5,000 meter races. So I just wanted to mention that since his name is in the question. We're going to use speed is equal to distance over time. And therefore, speed is 16 over 1.5, and that is the original calculation for this question. 32 over 3 would be the fractional way of representing that. Now, we can manipulate this formula and use time is equal to distance over speed. And for the next part of the question, they're saying he covers 10 kilometers at a speed of 12. So that means this is his time for that segment of running, that 10 kilometers. And that is 0.83 repeat hours. Now, he runs a total of 1.5 hours. So we have to subtract from 1.5 this 0.83 repeat. And when you do, you get 0.6 repeat. So this is the time for those last 6 kilometers. So to calculate the speed is equal to distance over time. Distance is 6, time is 0.06 repeat, and when you do that math, you get 9. And therefore, number 15, the answer is B. If x is equal to 18 is one of the solutions of the equation x squared plus 12x plus c is 0, the other solution is. Well, let's substitute in x equals 18 first to get an idea of what c is. So this will be 324 plus 216 plus c is equal to 0. So that means we have 540 plus c is equal to 0. So c is equal to minus 540. So now we can put that back in to get x squared plus 12x minus 540 is equal to 0. And therefore, I think you can factor this. So this will be x, 18, and 30. And this will be negative, that will be plus. So that means the roots are 18, which is something they already gave you, but the other one is minus 30. So number 16, the answer is C. A total of n points are equally spaced around a circle and are labeled with the integers 1 to n in order. 2 points are called diametrically opposite if the line segment joining them is a diameter of the circle. If the points labeled 7 and 35 are diametrically opposite, then n equals. So let's label what they give us, 35 and 7. They're saying those two are diametrically opposite. So if you draw a line from one to the other, they will basically be opposite, and that line is a diameter. All right, so now we have to put in the other numbers. So these numbers would be 8, 9, and so on, right? All the way up until 33, 34. And on this side, the numbers would be 36, 37, all the way up until n. and then 1, 2, 3, up until 6. So these guys are sort of the boundaries, and then all the numbers on this side and all the numbers on that side have to equal in terms of the number. So for example, all the numbers on this side, we can easily figure that out. It's 8, 9, dot, 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 all the way until 34. So that's going to be 34 minus 7, which is 27 numbers. So that means all the numbers on this side, those numbers, there has to be 27 of them. So basically 36, 37, dot, dot, dot until n, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All of these numbers, there's got to be 27 of them. Okay, well, this is 6 numbers, so that means these numbers, there's 21 of them. So 36, 37, dot, 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 until n, there's 21 of those numbers. So that means n minus 35 is equal to 21, and therefore n is equal to 56. Number 17, the answer is C. Suppose that x and y satisfy x minus y over x plus y is 9 and xy over x plus y is negative 60. The value of x plus y plus x minus y plus xy is. All right, so this is a bunch of algebraic manipulation. From the first one, we get x minus y is equal to 9 times x plus y. From the second one, we get xy is equal to minus 60 times x plus y. So we can substitute that into there. X plus y plus x minus y, which is this guy, 9 times x plus y, plus xy, which is equal to this, minus 60 x plus y. And this is basically equal to minus 50 x plus y. All right, well, we don't know what x plus y is equal to, so we've got to come up with another way of manipulating the algebra. Well, some of you know, hopefully most of you, that x plus y squared is equal to x squared plus 2xy plus y squared. X minus y squared is equal to x squared minus 2xy plus y squared. So if we were to subtract these, we get x plus y squared minus x minus y squared is equal to 4xy. All right, well, we can substitute these findings now. X plus y squared, we can leave that alone for now, minus x minus y squared, that's this guy. So 9 times x plus y, all squared, and then 4 times xy. Xy is this right here. So minus 60 x plus y. Okay, so this becomes x plus y squared minus 81x plus y squared is equal to minus 240x plus y. This becomes minus 80x plus y squared minus 240x plus y. Put the numbers on one side and put the variables on the other side. And when you do, you'll notice that the x plus y cancels. So you just get x plus y is equal to 3. And therefore, since x plus y is 3, we can substitute it back into here. And the answer, therefore, is 150 for this expression. So number 18, the answer is B. There are n students in the math club at Scoins Secondary School. When Mrs. Fryer tries to put the n students in groups of 4, there is one group with fewer than 4 students, but all of the other groups are complete. When she tries to put the n students in groups of 3, there are 3 more complete groups than there were with groups of 4. And there is again exactly one group that is not complete. When she tries to put the n students in groups of 2, there are 5 more complete groups than there were with groups of 3, and there is again exactly one group that is not complete. The sum of the digits of the integer equal to n squared minus n is. N is the number of students, and then we have groups. The first scenario is when you have groups of 4, so groups of 4, 4, dot, dot, dot. And at the very end, there's one group that is incomplete, so it has either 3, 2, or 1. We don't know which one yet. And this has k groups, let's just say k. The next scenario is when you have groups of 3, 3, 3, 3, and then at the end again there's one group that's not complete, so it has either 2 or 1. But this, they're saying, is k plus 3, exactly based on what they're telling me in the question stem, the number of groups. And then when it's groups of 2, 2, 2, and so on, again, one group is incomplete, so that must have just one student in it. That's the only way it can be incomplete. And that, they're saying, is k plus 8. 5 more than this, so k plus 8. All right, so this is the setup. Now we have to do the math. The math basically is as follows. In the first scenario there, where you have groups of 2, if you take the total number of students and divide by 2, it will give you k plus 8 with a remainder of 1. And in a very similar way, if you do the same thing for this group here, this scenario I should say, it would be n divided by 3 is equal to k plus 3 with a remainder of 2, or n divided by 3 is equal to k plus 3 with a remainder of 1, because there's 2 possible choices. We don't know which one. So let's work with this. Let's see what we get. Okay, so the first one, this is definitely the only one. So that means n is equal to 2k plus 16 plus 1. So that means n is equal to 2k plus 17. All right, so now let's figure out what is the value of n and k. First, I'll try this. If my answer makes sense, perfect. If it doesn't, I'll come back and try that. So using this guy here, that gives me the following. N is equal to 3k plus 9 plus 2. So n is equal to 3k plus 11. All right. So this and this can be equated since they're both equal to n. And you get 2k plus 17 is equal to 3k plus 11. And therefore k is equal to 6. If k is equal to 6, substitute it back into here to get the value for n. And when you do, you get n is equal to 12 plus 17, so 29. All right. So my n is 29. Let's see what I get, if this all makes sense. If n is 29, then 29 divided by 4 is going to be 7 with a remainder of 1. Okay. Let's calculate the next one. N is 29. This time divide by 3. And that's going to give me 9 with a remainder of 2. And let's calculate the last one. 29 divided by 2 would be 14 with a remainder of 1. All right. Now, these numbers, 7, 9, and 14, have to correspond with k, k plus 3, and k plus 8. And unfortunately, they don't. K is 7, k plus 3 would be 10, but here k plus 3 is 9, so it didn't work. No problem. That's what trial and error is all about. Basically what it means is that this guy was wrong, so it must mean that this one is the right one. Okay, so we do the same thing, but with that other choice right here. So n over 3 is k plus 3 with a remainder of 1. So that means n is equal to 3k plus 9 plus 1. So n is equal to 3k plus 10. And n was equal to 2k plus 17 from this calculation. So that means 2k plus 17 is equal to 3k plus 10. So that means k is equal to 7. All right. If k is equal to 7, then plug it back into here to get a value for n. And when you do, you get 31. All right. So 31 must be the value for n, but let's just verify just in case we did something wrong, and I sincerely hope that we didn't. All right, so let's verify n being 31. 31 divided by 4 is 7 with a remainder of 3. 31 divided by 3 is 10 with a remainder of 1, and 31 divided by 2 is 15 with a remainder of 1. So this is my k. This is my k plus 3. And this is my k plus 8. And do these numbers all match up? They do. Yes. All right, perfect. So n is 31. So now, if you forgot, because sometimes these questions are so long, they want me to figure out the sum of the digits of n squared minus n. Okay, well, we had n equal to 31. So n squared minus n would be 31 squared minus 31. And that number is 961 minus 31, which is 930. The sum of the digits of that number would be 9 plus 3 plus 0, which is 12. Number 22, excellent question. The answer is B. In the diagram, PQRS represents a rectangular piece of paper. The paper is folded along a line VW so that VWQ is 125 degrees. When the folded paper is flattened, points R and Q have moved to points R prime and Q prime respectively. R prime V crosses PW at Y. The measure of angle PYV is. So this is a question that involves angle chasing. We have to figure out the angle. So the angle is PYV, this one right here. So I'll call that theta right there. All right, what else do we know here? This is 125. So that means this angle in here must be 180 minus 125. So that's 55. All right, what else can we label here? Using that pattern, we know that this is also going to be 55. And what else here? This angle in here will be 180 minus theta. And then using that pattern right there, this angle will be 180 minus theta. And let's see here. Therefore, if this angle is z, z plus 55 plus 180 minus theta is equal to 180. So when you solve for z, you get z is equal to theta minus 55. So let's put that in there. Theta minus 55. All right, and then opposite angles, this guy is going to be theta. And by opposite angles, this is going to be 180 minus theta. And then this is, of course, a right angle because it's really just the corner of a rectangle, and this is also a right angle. And now I want you to concentrate on this segment right here. This, if you draw a line like that, is really two triangles. So all the angles of that shape have to add up to 360. So this is 90, this is 90. I'll call this guy y. So that means 90 plus y plus theta is equal to 360. So that means y plus theta is 180, and therefore y is equal to 180 minus theta. So instead of that y, I'll put in 180 minus theta. 180 minus theta. Okay, I think we are at the final step. Now the final step is to recognize is that when this is folded, this angle, which is 125, is the same as this angle, because it's essentially the same thing. That angle is the same as this angle. And therefore 180 minus theta plus 55 is equal to 125. And therefore this looks like theta is equal to 335 minus 125, 235 minus 125, and therefore theta is 110. So number 20, the answer is 8.